Christmas. Jimmy the Butcher. Today we're going to show you how to getting ready to cook our Christmas dinner. Instead of prime rib, we're going to roast a beautiful USDA prime grade New York strip that I purchased at Costco. It was a whole strip. I've cooked the other half, so I know it's going to be good, but I want to show you how we're going to prepare this. Okay. The first thing we want to do, if you look at the end of this, is like the end of like a New York cut. What we're looking at here is this gristle and this thin layer of gristle at the top. We're going to cut that off because we certainly don't want to eat that and any other little pieces here that are on the bottom. Let's start on the bottom here. We'll just cut that off. There's a little bit of, if you notice here, there's a little bit of shiny. That's where the bones were removed. We're going to cut that off as well. Not a lot of trimming. We want to leave the fat on it for the most part. There we go. I think that looks pretty nice. The other thing we want to do is, if you look at the end here, this piece here, this gristle across the top and the end here, you can see very clearly how big a piece of gristle that is. We're going to cut that off as well. The knives I'm using, people always question the knives. They're Forstner. This is a 8-inch Granton Edge Forstner knife. This is a 6-inch curved boning knife. Let me throw those in the garbage. Anyway, so what you want to do here is you want to lift it up and you want to just kind of get underneath that gristle there. I think maybe my little knife is a better one. There you go. We're just going to get to the top there, and then we're going to peel that back. And when we do that, we're going to remove this piece of gristle across the top as well. We're going to remove some of this fat, but not all of it. And there's more gristle to go. Can you see the shiny gristle there? We're going to get under that and remove that, leaving the fat behind if we can. We're fortunate because this is prime beef. It does have a nice fat covering. And you can see, now you can see it's kind of, see how shiny that is? That's what we want to take off there. So just going to get underneath it and just kind of tilt your knife up and just follow it down, and it'll just come right off. That looks pretty darn good. Okay. Very nice. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to trim. You can kind of see it has a nice tail, and we're going to leave most of that on, but we're going to shorten the tail just a bit here. We're going to take a nice chunk of that off because we're not going to eat that, and it's going to cook more evenly if we remove that. And then to season this, I'm going to just score the top just by dragging my knife across and making a crosshatch pattern. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to get more seasoning on it. Just kind of gently cutting into the meat. Then the other thing we're going to do here, turn that up a little bit, is we're going to split it right down the middle. Interesting enough, in my younger days, I won a National Beef Council contest by doing this and cutting it into steaks. Won a trip to the Super Bowl like in 1989. And cutting it in half, you can see how thick the fat layer is. We're going to trim that off again. We're going to have to give it another scoring. Okay. That piece looks very, very nice. Do the same thing with this, and you can see the middle of the beef, how thick the fat is. And my feeling is if you're not going to eat it, don't leave it on there. So I pretty much will eat all of that. And I'm going to take a little more of this gristle off here. I can see a little shiny bit there. we just don't need. That looks pretty darn good. So what we have now are we have 2 single round roast, and we could put a string around those. Really don't think we need to. And the next step here, we're going to season it. And to season it, what I'm going to do is I'm going to have a cookie sheet here, and I'm going to just put a generous amount of olive oil on here. And then I'm going to sprinkle, some, you can use any kind of herb. Today I'm using dill because I like the taste of dill with beef. And we're just going to kind of put that all over there as well. Okay, that looks pretty good. We're going to give it a generous grind of pepper. And we may well go back and hit it again with a little more pepper at the end too, if we don't feel like we got enough on there. You really can't over season this roast. And then we're gonna give it some granulated garlic, and again we're gonna do the same thing. It's pretty generous. And then a same philosophy, a lot of kosher salt. Okay. So now that we have our seasoning there, we're just gonna kind of mix it around a little, put it on there. And then what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our roast, and we're gonna stick, because we have 2 sides, we're gonna stick it there and we're gonna roll it. And you can see that we got most of that seasoning up. It's a lot easier to do this. Doesn't that look beautiful? Looks Christmassy, doesn't it? Put that on our roasting tray. And we'll do the other side. I like to put the fat side down to make sure I get a good covering on the fat part. And then just kind of roll it as we go through. You can use any kind of herb. Like I said, I'm using dill. You can use thyme, rosemary, whatever really sounds good to you. I think the dill is going to be quite nice though. So there we are. And set that out of the way. Bring this over here. And what we're going to do is we're going to cook this in a 250-degree oven. I think I mentioned that earlier. And till it gets to 125 degrees. And then we're going to pull it out and let it rest for about 20 minutes. What's really nice about this, when it's ready to slice, it's very easy to slice. And if they're leftovers, it's great for sandwiches as well. So my thermometer, where I'm going to choose to put that is going to be in the smallest part here, because that's the part that's going to get the temp first, and then the rest of it won't be overcooked. So we're going to put this in the oven. We'll come back and show you what it looks like when it's done. We're back. Our roast has been cooking in the oven for about an hour and a half. Don't use my time, use your own time. Use the thermometer, take it out 125. I pulled mine at 126. Cooked it on a rack like this where it had circulation. And the proof is in the pudding here. So what we're going to do, you want to get in there, dear, and we'll just see how we did there. Let's see if it looks good. Oh my gosh, does it look beautiful or what? Look at that. Absolutely gorgeous.
Happy Christmas to all.
There you are. Isn't that beautiful? Just perfectly cooked. It rested about 20 minutes while we made the gravy. We're going to slice this. And the other piece probably will be served cold or warm, or just cold for sandwiches tomorrow, which will be a really nice treat. But just want to show you just how pretty that is here. Just look at this. Let me put it on the tray here so you can really get a nice view of what a nice piece of meat that is. Is that gorgeous? Merry Christmas to you. Have a nice dinner. Take care. Bye-bye.